Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. One of the advantages that my membership perks have is that if you are a member of the channel, you can send me suggestions for videos and I will do them if I possibly can. This video is a result of one of those. Channel member Lao Torrr sent me a suggestion that I do a video of my 5 favorite storylines ever, which was hard to do. I had narrowed it down to 7, but one of them is not possible for me to talk about without showing something, so I'm going to skip that one. Unfortunately, that one is the only one that's not a DC one. It was the Korvac storyline from Avengers. A lot of you will be familiar with that. Michael Korvac, where he became literally God and could bring back eventually and bring back people to life and all that stuff, and then he eventually gave his own life up and ended it all. That is a awesome storyline. I loved it, but I don't have anything from it right now. I have been trying to get the trade paperback for it because the individual issues are actually kind of hard to track down. As for the other 6, I am showing trade paperbacks because I don't have every single comic for these storylines. I have a couple of them, but not all of them. And it would be much easier for this video to show the trade paperback and talk about why I like it. These are in no particular order, by the way. They are literally in the order that I'm picking them up from the pile. First one, by George Perez and Marv Wolfman. Crisis on Infinite Earths. Apart from the death of Supergirl, this is an amazing story. I went to George Perez when he was alive, obviously. When I met him, I said to him, "You killed my girl." And he said, "I was paid to. I guess I'm an assassin." And then we laughed about it, and I got some autographs and all that stuff, and we had a couple-minute conversation. He let me take a picture, that kind of thing. But Crisis on Infinite Earths was the definitive DC, still is the best DC crossover event or whatever. This is the one that they're all trying to become, and they're not succeeding. Some are good, but they're not succeeding like this. The saddest thing other than Supergirl dying from this was the destruction of Earth 2. I was a big fan of the All-Star Squadron, well, still am, but which was a very vibrant title at the time, but had to die basically. Had to end the title because of the events of Crisis, because really a lot of what was appealing above the team had left. So this is number 1, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Read it. Read. The next one. I had all these books when I was younger, but I don't have them all anymore, and they're harder to get in some of them because 2 of them have become key books that are actually getting. One is reasonably easy to get. Well, they're both easy to get. There's lots of copies, but in terms of cost prohibited, one of them is like $100 book, $100 book now. So if you really want to have it, you'll pay for it. But me, I've got other priorities because I have the trade paperback. And that is same creative team, Marv Wolfman and George Perez, The Judas Contract. Terminator plants Terra, who's here, in the new Teen Titans to betray them. She gets all their civilian IDs, and he attacks them in their home when they're least expecting it and all that stuff, and he manages to defeat everybody but Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing in this storyline, and that's the book I'm referring to. That is expensive as heck now. That's the Tales of the Titans 43, I believe. And the other one that's getting a little bit of traction is Annual 3, which is The Death of Terra, and that's the climax of this story. This one set up things for a couple of years where Changeling goes after the Deathstroke for, trying to get him and trying to kill him. They do fight a couple times and end up, talking in a restaurant about things. The one uncomfortable thing about this story is that, Deathstroke is in a relationship with a 15-year-old girl. Next up, probably number 1. Definitely with Crisis up there in that sense. This is the Legion of Superheroes, the Great Darkness Saga. written by the amazing Paul Levitz and drawn by the amazing, I use amazing a lot, don't I? Keith Giffen. This Darkseid attacks the 30th century, and the Legion basically are having such a hard time defeating him. They have to bring in all the reserves. That includes people like the Heroes of Lao Torrr, who we haven't seen, the Legion of Substitute Heroes, the Wanderers, who literally made a one-time appearance in the 1970s version of the team. And you got people like Supergirl making her first appearance since the 1970, I want to say 3 or 4, 74, in the Legion title. Finally coming out of, since she went to reserve status. Everybody was involved. This is an amazing story. I won't get into the details, but I could almost dictate this, but then it would take 45 minutes and you don't want to listen to it. Go read this. The main books are Legion of Superheroes 290 to 294, which I recently actually showed on Alan's channel, but there are some backstories to it, and there are some end stories as well. This one collects 284 to 296 and annual 1. So there's more than just the Great Darkness Saga in there. But that is the main thing. The thing about the Great Darkness Saga is one of the reasons they included so many stories is because Paul Levitz leads to little hints to things as they go along in some of these other books. And I really like that about his writing style. He was keeping you on your toes. There'll be something there, and then it may not show up again for 4 issues, but you know that it's not there for no reason. Next up is one that I'm sure a lot of people have seen over the years. This has had a movie and a TV show after it. Alan Moore did this with Dave Gibbons, and you know what I'm talking about. I, of course, am talking about The Watchmen. What I like about this series is the detail. It's not just the detail of the stories and the character stories, character development of the ones that you see in the story. It's also bringing the past into it, and you get like for example, you get things like this where they talk about newspaper articles or old letters that get thrown into the mix of the book. The Watchmen is really good. It'll probably never be out of print. It is one of the most popular. This is one of the most popular trade paperbacks out there. The individual issues to the series go from anywhere from $80 I saw number 1 to $10, where I've seen the middle issues. Number 12 is like a $40 book. But this itself, great story. Most of you probably know what the story is about the one guy who decides to try and get the world to not have nuclear war by staging an alien attack on New York City. So in the end, this is a pretty good book, and this has been out there as of literally of this year, 40 years. So if you haven't seen it by now, go see it, or the movie, or more importantly, read it. This is so much better than the movie. My favorite character, of course, is Rorschach. I mean, come on. The next one is one that a lot of people have seen. I have seen the cartoon that they made out of this. The animation. Cartoon is so for children, right? This is Superman Red Sun. I love this book so much. Written by Mark Millar, Dave Johnson, and Killian Plunkett doing art. This is such a great story. They capture that Soviet propaganda so well in this. This story basically says, what if Superman landed in the Soviet Union instead of America? But what I really like is the way the story is framed in the end. It makes so total sense when you see the whole thing. This is one of those things, again, the details in it are amazing. The parts of the actual comic book lore they use is absolutely amazing. If you've never read this, read this. This is probably, with Emperor, Joker, and All-Star Superman, probably one of the the three best stories ever done outside of regular continuity, so to speak. Although Emperor Joker did happen in continuity, but I digress. The last one. Honestly, if I had to pick one, it would be between this and the Great Darkness Saga, and maybe even Crisis. But I honestly think that I think Crisis would make a good number 3 in this. This one is absolutely brilliant. I'm telling you, you're going to like it. This was, let's see, I'm trying to get to the credits. They're not on the cover. All right. Written by Roy Thomas and art by Raphael Cannon. This is America versus the Justice Society. This is cool. Superman discovers a diary made by Batman, or it is by Batman. It really is, accusing the JSA of being treasonous people, and they have to go through this entire recounting of the Justice Society's history, and this recounts all of their stories from All Star Comics in the 40s. At some point where they say we fought this person and we fought that person, and they put little notes in All Star 33 or whatever it was, all to find out that this was something that a Père Degaton, who has been one of their worst enemies ever, has set up, and it involves time travel, and which always is involved with Père Degaton stories. And Batman knew, and he set the diary in order to give clues to things happening. As they examine their history, they realize what's going on. And in the end, Batman is exonerated, and so is the Justice Society. They are exonerated because they finally figure out who did it, Père Degaton, and all that stuff. But it's the details. As a huge Justice Society fan, it's the details and the knowledge that Roy Thomas has about the Golden Age superheroes. Absolutely stunning. So if you've never read this, read this. You can probably get all 4 issues of this miniseries in dollar bins. I just got this because, again, I've had a hard time finding issues 1 and 4. So I just bought this when it came out to make sure I could read the whole thing constantly. I had it when I was a kid. I should have kept it, but I didn't. So America versus the Justice Society. If you like what these storylines are, please like, comment, and subscribe below. In the comments below, please leave what your favorite storylines were. I'm always looking for something to read, and if you put in something that I've never read before, I'm going to take the time to go and check it out, because that's who I am. Thank you very much to Lao Torrr for suggesting this topic. It was a lot of fun when I sat down and I wrote a list, and I ended up with about 20 storylines, and then I narrowed it down to 10, and then I realized these are the ones I had, and they were probably the top, honestly, 6 of the top 7 in my favorites, so therefore I went with them. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Bye, everybody.